Welcome back. Let's get more now on the situation in the Middle East. And the UN has warned that violence between Israel and Palestinian groups is heading towards full-scale war. In a moment, I'll be joined by a Palestinian academic, Dr. Yara Hawari. But first, let's bring in the former Defence Minister of Israel and the Yamina Party leader, Naftali Bennett. Thank you very much for being with us. Just to begin with, since Monday, you've carried out hundreds of airstrikes, destroyed 3 tower blocks, killed 56 Palestinians, including 14 children, and injured 300 more, including 86 children and 39 women. How is that a proportionate response to the threat posed to Israel?
That question is just a blatant way of positioning it. You forgot one small thing. They've been shooting 1,000 rockets on Israel. But that little piece of information, I guess, was a bit convenient to forget. So let me be very clear. Hamas, without any provocation, started shooting rockets at the state of Israel, at the millions of citizens of Israel, including my children. And yes, did Israel retaliate? Yes, we did. The way you pose that question is as if you attack the police for fighting back murderers.
No,
we have a terrorist state attacking our country, and we're fighting back.
No, I accept that you have the right to defend yourself. My question really was whether, you know, these airstrikes which are killing children, 14 children, injuring many more children, do they have to die if your targets are military, which is what you're saying?
Our targets are military, and indeed the Hamas terror group, its modus operandi is to hide behind civilians. So that's what they're doing. And, you know, if your own family was under rockets the way my family was overnight, we spent the whole night in the shelter, I wonder how, you know, polite you'd be.
Now, Hamas is now saying this afternoon, reportedly, that it's ready to halt actions against Israel on a mutual basis. Is Israel ready to halt actions?
Yes. Hamas needs to stop all of this nonsense. I want to be, again, very clear. Out of the blue, Hamas started shooting rockets at a sovereign state of Israel. We're a democracy. Hamas is a terror state. And yes, they hide behind children and women. They turn kindergartens into terror bases. And then by shooting rockets from within kindergarten, they are killing their own women and children. So it's the Hamas leadership who is absolutely responsible for the death of its own citizens and the death of Israelis.
Right. So you say that if Hamas does cease firing rockets, which they say they will on a mutual basis, Israel would cease the air attacks.
Well, we're now hitting their ability to further attack us. Because when you, without any provocation, you start shooting rockets at Israel, you should expect that we're going to fight back. In fact, I recall that when London was under a huge blitz, later on it demolished cities in Germany. We're not doing that. We're not indiscriminately shooting back. We're hitting only Hamas targets that are hiding within homes, kitchens, kindergartens, and hospitals. How cowardly can you be to hide within the Shifa hospital? That's unbelievable. But that's the way these terrorists are operating, and we're going to fight back.
Right, we've just got 2 minutes left. Now, you're a key figure in the attempt to form a new coalition, and there are those who say the lurch to the right in Israeli politics is being fuelled by politicians like yourself, and that is what is leading to this violence or encouraging this violence. What would you say to that?
I think that's ridiculous. As someone who fought in wars, who lost friends, as someone whose family, like many families in Israel, are under attack, we don't want war. We don't want war. The only small thing is that we're surrounded by Hezbollah, by Hamas, by Iranian militias and by ISIS in Sinai. All of them want to annihilate the Jewish state. And when we're in a tough neighborhood, we're going to be tough.
And you're quoted as saying about the two-state solution that it is a dead end. And you also say that a future Palestinian state would be a terror state. Just on a broader picture of peace, what does that do to, encourage peace? What chance is there of peace with language like that?
I'm a huge believer in peace, peace for peace. I don't start giving up parts of land of my own home in order to achieve peace. In fact, whenever we ever did that, we sever a piece of land like Gaza and hand it over to the Palestinians, it turns into a terror base. But it's our very small home. Israel is a very small country. It's been our homeland for thousands of years. We're not about to cut it up and slice and dice it and hand it out to terrorists.
Right. OK, well, let's move on. Thank you very much, Mr. Naftali Bennett, for that. I'm going to go to Ramallah now and speak to Dr. Yara Hawari. Appreciate your time.